but a magnet doesn't stick to it.
No.
It being,
It's the weirdest thing.
December 3rd at 7:07 PM, I call the Board of Health meeting to order. Present is Terry, Bob, Linda, and Sharon. Currently absent is Margie. First thing on our agenda is Sarah McClugan.
Yes, I had received a letter from the Masters Health Officers Association regarding a retail inspection compliance check of a violation, which I have yet to see what it is because it's not on their website yet, but to do with Abington gas and auto repair. I called Sarah regarding it, and she has known me quite a while because she's been in the business of public health as long as I have. And she said there was new tobacco regs that have come out, and I just said that I would like to invite her to come before our board and have her present them to us and have us learn about what the new ones are and see if you would like to look into adopting new regulations. But I said to her I want to talk to the board first. So if you want to read the letter, that's the letter that she sent me.
I think that's a good idea.
So maybe for our,
Excuse me?
sometime in January, maybe, a meeting in January?
Sure.
Okay.
To be announced later.
Do we have to do a vote on this or just?
I don't know. Motion
Motion
to
to,
bring Sarah McColgan in to review the new tobacco regulations with us.
Thank you. Okay.
Second?
I'll second that.
motion and second. Anything further to say? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. 4-0-0. Compost side. In your handout tonight, we have a thing from EOMS. EOMS. Dear Sharon, EOMS Recycling is pleased to provide you with the following personnel and composting services for Grove Street site. 30 roll-off dumpsters for Christmas trees, $250 per container, flat fee, loading capabilities of a skid steer loader with grappling bucket. Per container loading fee, $75, so total cost $325 per container roll-off to get rid of it after Christmas without having to hire a shredder, whatever, and stuff like that.
It's the same contract that was last year.
Exactly the same
Yeah,
contract they gave us
yeah.
last year.
So the cost hasn't gone up?
No,
No.
exactly the same.
And I thought it was a good idea last year,
Yeah.
because I know it's going to
I'd rather it get chipped up, but that cost is prohibitive at this time.
And I just think it's a quick way for us to move the product off the property and get it where it needs to get to and get shredded right away.
The town doesn't have a wood chipper?
The town has a small wood chipper, but nothing that would
Oh,
handle.
no, okay.
And a lot of them
300
don't like
trees.
pine trees because it.
Well, you know, the sap in the tree, beefs up the blades and all that stuff like that. So the cost to get a commercial shredder with an operator is probably at least twice, if not more than this cost to get rid of it. So I think it's a very economical way, and we know they're recycling them, so it's all positive. It's a very green methodology and a very inexpensive way for the town to deal with. Now, while we're on the subject of our Christmas trees, although your calendar that was mailed home to you showed 2 weekend dates that you're picking up Christmas trees, clarifications been made, Sharon?
Yes, what had happened was there are 2 dates, and it says in the contract, 2 weeks for Christmas tree pickup. It also says in the contract, 3 collections, which means fall yard waste, spring yard waste collection, and Christmas trees collection. There is a discrepancy right now of the 2 weeks for, meaning 1 collection or 2 collections with Waste Solutions versus the town. John D'Agostino is gonna meet with Mike Mulberry sometime this week, but in the meantime, I thought we should have a Plan B. And I mentioned to Bob when I first heard about this, which was, I believe, last week, to perhaps have the Boy Scouts go around the first week and pick them up, or tell residents, if we don't get the 2 weeks ironed out, to leave them out, but they would be picked up on the 19th, even if they were left out on the 12th.
Point of order was last year, the high school frisbee team,
Was it Frisbee?
It was Ultimate Frisbee. I haven't heard from them this year.
No, but I thought we could contact the high school and put it out to anyone who wanted to do a fundraiser. If they wanted to do a fundraiser, we'd be willing to work with them to open up the gate if they wanted to go out and do Christmas tree collection on that weekend.
Do you want me to write to the gentleman that was a teacher last year that put this together?
We could do that, or you could write to the guidance counselor, and I'll open it to any of the groups at the high school who want to do
I
this.
don't know the names of the groups, that's the only thing.
Well, that's why I think going to the guidance counselor at the high school is better than going to the groups. Certainly, we could write back to the teacher who headed up the volunteer work last year. I thought they were
great.
very good, and they were very efficient and didn't really take up a lot of time, and they made some money for their team. So I think the Board of Health could reach out to either or both the guidance counselor at Abington High School and or that teacher, and offer them the first weekend again an opportunity to go out and collect Christmas trees. And that way we could advertise that to the citizens, that they could contact these groups or this group if they wanted to have their tree removed on the first Saturday, and then the second Saturday leave it up for the town.
Do you remember what they were charging last year?
Yes, I think it was it $10?
Yeah,
I think it was $10. This might be ironed out, but I wanted to get
A
this
backup
brought,
plan.
just in case.
This would be the appropriate backup plan to have, and we should mention that this is a backup plan, but
Yeah.
certainly don't want to defeat the purpose of having, if we're gonna get 2 weekend pickups, to have the 2 weekend pickups, but if we're not gonna have the 2 weekend pickups, we definitely have to have a plan in place, and we need to get something to have on the agenda, have on the cusp to just allow
Yeah.
out.
I should have an answer for this by our next board meeting.
So before the
Yeah.
end of our next board meeting, we should be able to send something
Yeah.
out to these people.
Well, yeah,
Doesn't mean we can't call and contact as a preemptive strike, and just say, we are considering
There may be
offering,
an
there may
opportunity.
be an opportunity the first weekend to collect trees, we're not sure yet. We
Right.
won't know until December 20th this year, but
yeah.
knowing that, I just want to let you know, see if you can get back to us.
Bless you.
Excuse me, you can get back to us and let us know if there's
Contagious.
anyone interested in doing that, so we can have another hit list if we need it,
Okay,
okay?
sure.
The compost site is closed for the year. Not to say that people have any put trash,
I know,
put bags in front of the frickin' gate already, pardon my French, but
I have a fix.
Oh.
I have a fix. It's very simple, too. We need to move the fence out.
the gate, you mean?
Move the gate to where we have a curb that comes down there, you know, that metal railing that comes, we need to move it out and give, where the railing is, have the fence right there too. Leave them no pocket. What we've got is a pocket for them to put their stuff.
How much would that cost?
Oh,
And how much of a deterrent when they can just put it across the street into the ditch? I mean, I only say
I'm
that
just giving you
because
an idea.
Sage's first cleanup, there was a lot of trash in
We
there.
are looking into, Lorraine is researching cameras also. But it is funny, there's tons of signs up there, and it doesn't matter.
well, even when you catch somebody, all they say is, oh, everybody else is doing it,
Two
but
6-foot
that doesn't make
sections
it
of
right.
fence where the gate is now, where the corner posts are, and move those out 6 feet to where you said, Bob.
Yeah.
And just move those gate sections forward, so we're not talking a huge amount of money, because we're only talking 2 sections of fence on either side to get the sides out along the curb.
Well, you're
And then-
talking
and
about
then
the 90, making a 90 degree.
Yeah,
That's what you're talking.
but you can reuse the gates out forward.
Right, the
Use
gates
these
be over
pieces
here.
and the corner post.
And then there's the sides next to the gate.
Well, that's gonna
And
get
that's
filled
gonna
up,
be
you know
more
that.
difficult for you to go in and clean
True,
it
but
up.
they also have to lift it up over those barriers.
They don't
It's
go down
a
the
vicious catch-22, I
Yeah.
know.
I'm just thinking of you, because
No.
you go down and pick
Yep.
them up.
Well, I just.
But yeah, like, she's got a good point, because it ain't them putting it there, it's after it's been rained on for a couple of times.
Well,
And
trust
that
me, I
bag
know.
goes from weighing 20 pounds to 60 or
And then it
80
falls apart as
pounds.
soon as you pick it up.
Right,
It's
so
disintegrating.
we're in a, you know,
So,
I did call CRT last week to have them empty the trailer, because it's full.
Okay.
And I did go on a field trip with Lorraine after our SSRC meeting in Whitman to the CRT
Facility?
facility, and I also met the gentleman that's buying the Spiegel facility.
Someone's buying the Spiegel facility?
Mm-hmm,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Are they
Oh,
gonna
no, okay, no,
buying
we
it to recycle?
oh, Spiegel has moved behind
Yeah.
themselves. Spiegel has moved into an area that is 4 times bigger. Spiegel is still gonna be there, they just got more room. I was there Saturday.
The person that bought Spiegel, are they doing recycling, or are they doing
Just metal, I think,
just
still.
metal? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I would,
Are they doing more than that?
I bet dimes and dollars they're not doing metal.
Really?
If Spiegel is staying, doing the same thing, he wouldn't sell it to the same,
Well, they are moving.
they're moving right
Yeah,
behind him.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, when
and
you
just
come down,
moving.
when you
Yeah.
come down Grove Street, East Ashland, whatever it is there, to the set of lights, you're gonna make the left on the first right-hand turn. There used to be a car place in there. I know, you could see it. When I was there Saturday, I could see,
Behind the mall?
yeah, they've cleared out, no, same side.
Yeah, behind that wall is right there.
Well, that little strip, yeah, right, behind that strip, there were sidelines is, and the
Yeah,
liquor
okay.
store is, right, yeah.
Okay, I priced 30 by 70 tarp is $106 is the best price I can get for one, and
30 by, what,
70 tarp.
at the top.
But if you look at the mulch pile that we have there, it's about, just about 30 feet long, and it's about 14 feet high and about 10 feet deep, so I'm not sure one will cover all that, so.
Did you go to Ocean State Job Lot?
Yeah, then I went to a couple other places too, so I tried to price it. I was up in Maine, I went to a couple of discount places up there, Bouchon Hardware, and a couple other places, and I priced Ocean State Job Lot, and it's Ocean State Job Lot is the best price for the tarp. But I found one 100-footer, it's a little over $200, that would have covered the whole thing, ground to ground, you'd have nothing exposed at all. But Frank next door has got a bunch of tires we can use to put on
That's
the
it.
tarp, so we can keep it down for the winter. So, so I'm thinking I'm probably gonna buy that Saturday, and we'll go up there and put the top over what we can protect and throw those tires on for now, just to get something over the mountain for the winter. Other than that, they've done a really good job up there.
Very clean.
It's really, the water has someplace to go, and it's not that bad anymore, and we have that one huge pile of stuff that we collected for our first recycling effort this year by the town, and we'll get another one in the spring. So that's pretty much all I had. If anyone else has any issues on the compost site, that's what I want to talk about there. We talked about the bid for EMS already. Trash holiday
So
discussion.
do we need to do anything to go move forward with that?
I think you need to
Accept it.
take a vote to go forward with it, yes, for me to
Motion to accept the
contact.
bid from EOMS?
Motion to accept the bid from EOMS, so I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, unanimous, 4-0-0.
Do you know what date you want me to tell them to,
As soon as the week after, anytime during the week after that weekend, second weekend, you can have them pick it up.
Yeah, what did we say, the 17th or the
it's
22nd?
the 12th and 19th?
So anytime after the 19th, they can pick it up.
Okay.
It's
That
January.
means that's gotta be worked through you in your office to get up, open the gate, let them
Yes,
in there and all that
yes,
stuff.
don't
like
worry
that.
about that.
Okay, don't worry about that. Holiday trash discussion. My only issue with this one is that I know we have these new 2-barrel systems, but Christmas is coming and people have a tendency to take green plastic bags, stuff it with Christmas wrapper, and put it in the trash. I was wondering if we should do anything as far as making announcements or making sure you put your Christmas wrap in recycling, or, you know, not put it in plastic bags, or trying to, because as I said before, I go down the streets and I see bulging barrels. I'm really worrying about bulging trash barrels of not trash, but actually of Christmas wrap paper in plastic bags in their barrels. And that's really what this is triggering my brains is. I was wondering what the board thought about having some, I don't know if we can do something on the website or maybe on a voicemail, making sure that you don't put your Christmas wrap in your trash. Recycle it, please, or something like that. Because it's not just Christmas wrap, it's all the tissue and all the boxes and everything else. It's really a big opportunity for us to increase our recycling this Christmas. I just think we need to get the message out to the people better, so. And I still don't, as a board, really feel that we don't communicate well enough with the community at large, and I just don't know how to do it, so. I'm asking the
I'll be
board.
glad to put something on cable, I can put something on their voice message, outgoing voice
Do
message.
you think it's worth sending a PR to the papers to see if they publish it, to remind
I
people?
can.
That would be very
I
helpful.
think it's worth it,
What
because
do
a
you
lot of
think?
people
Yeah, the
have
Abington
a
News.
lot of extra
I think it's a
garbage.
great
The
idea.
Abington Mirror.
All the rolls from wrapping paper and boxes.
Just to get it out there,
Yeah.
get the message out now, if we can send something out this week, and if they can publish it sometime in the next 2 weeks, just to let people know that they should really make a conscious effort not to put this in the trash. It'd be really helpful to everybody, including the town of Abington. So, any PR piece you could think of, to go to the papers, and then get something on the website and on the cable TV. It's just, I think cable TV would be a good reminder, because people do watch that a lot. I want to take this moment, if you don't mind, everyone, to congratulate the Green Wave football team
Yes, they did
and their
very
victory.
well.
And thumbs up to Green Wave football, and
Undefeated.
all the players and coaches and all the fans who monitored this team throughout the year. They did a great job. Next one is an important one, I thought, which is why old and new business is no longer accepted on agendas.
Are you asking me?
Why is that?
Why is that?
Well, all I can tell you is what, when we were here at our last meeting, if any of us, I guess Ken Coyle mentioned it, that because of the open meeting law, I guess you have to put on the agendas exactly what we're gonna talk about and not leave like a generalization of old and new business. At least that's what Ken mentioned to me in the office the other day.
Okay.
So we just have to be more specific.
Okay, I would ask that we get an official response from the Board of Selectmen about old and new business. I'd like clarification from the Selectmen's office. as
I
to-
would too, only because as long as there's no votes or decisions made in an open, old and new business, it's been used on many different committees, and even since the new open meeting law rules came out.
Okay, I'll
So,
write
yeah,
that, I'll write that email.
As long as, we're not sitting here, having a major discussion on something that the townspeople don't know about, but to bring up something to put on a future agenda,
I just thought the
it
board
needs to
should
be
be aware of
voted.
that, and I thought it was a very good point that Sharon mentioned, we should mention, so. Okay. Discussion on separate bills, scale bill for the waste solutions for the condominiums.
Well, I did, write an email, and I usually email you guys every email I send out.
Yes, you do.
But
appreciate
they're going to title it, the 5 grandfathered condominiums,
Cool.
as a separate bill that will come in to see how they do as far as their weight, scale.
Because proportionate, they're supposed to
Yeah.
have to borrow the equal to a regular citizen, so we should see the tonnage, hopefully, go down, I would hope.
I have a question on the condos. Have we added any more condos?
No,
Is the discussion
not
still
that,
going on?
not that I've heard,
Okay.
yeah.
When, will we know before it happens?
I don't know. The only thing I can tell you is right now, the only ones I'm aware of is the 5 grandfathered.
Okay, but I know there was supposed to be some discussion. I don't know
I
if
think there was
anybody.
no invitation quite a while back.
Right, do we know
And
if
I have
anyone?
not heard of anyone else of any of the other associations that are going to be in this round.
In this
Starting
round?
It's starting January 1st. I don't know how open-ended or whatever that is, but
Okay.
right now it's the 5 grandfather that have been looked at for putting the pads down and where they're supposed to be located and starting like that.
No, but I'm just wondering, I know we had opened up the door,
I haven't heard
And
anything
I'm just
further.
curious.
Yeah.
and I would like to know sooner rather than later. So
Okay,
if you
and
get
ask-
wind of anything.
I just asked, I'll write an email.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is a discussion of the new trash rates.
Well, I thought it was important to finally get these done because of what Gary just mentioned of the grandfather condos coming in, and I added them back in. I changed some wording of, I think I put down toters instead of bags. But you can look them over and just see if there's anything else that you feel should be changed, deleted, or added. And then if not, if we could try to vote on them, just so we can get them going for, by January 1st.
Okay, holidays. Page 4. Are we changing back to the old holiday schedule?
The old one, not to my knowledge.
All right, because Columbus Day and Veterans Day is in here.
But
Yeah,
they're,
that-
but they're considered, regular pickup days. See how it's
Oh,
written?
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to have a discussion about adding Veterans Day back.
I don't disagree with you, I just believe that contractually, the contract calls for the 5
Okay,
only, so it would have to go through a contractual discussion.
well,
with-
do we know that?
Contractually?
Yes.
It
Do we
is-
know that it's going to change the cost if we add Veterans Day back as a holiday? They're still going to be picking up 5 days.
I didn't say, I didn't mention cost, I just mentioned contractually, these are
Right.
the 5 holidays that they're contracted. The current contract calls for them to do on the other holidays to pick up normally, and the 5 holidays that are just the holidays.
Well, then, can we add that as an agenda item to our next meeting?
What,
And can we find out what kind of, is it gonna be labor intensive? Is it gonna be,
so does,
what does it entail? If it's
what is the board's mood of sending a request to the board of selectmen to approach Waste Solutions and adding Veterans Day as part of the skip a day, part of the trash collection, as opposed to
So you're looking for a sense of the,
sense of the board?
sense of the board? So it's not a vote, it's a sense of
So
the
if
board.
there's a sense of the board.
I don't see a problem with it. I mean, is it really gonna change much? It's only a day.
Why can't we ask the
Wait.
question, and if it doesn't change much, I would really like to have Veterans Day.
Because a
back.
lot of people take work Veterans Day to have the day after Thanksgiving off.
Well, they can still work,
I-
but put their trash
That is
out
not the point.
until late.
The point is, it's Veterans Day. That's my point.
I am one. I
So am I.
understand,
That's why it's.
and I understand.
and I'd like
I'm
to
just
have-
bringing you another point of view. That was
I
all I was
understand
doing.
that. And most companies make it a
I was the
optional
one,
holiday.
I was the one that forgot to put my barrels out that day and missed. Oh, I got my
But anyway,
recyclables picked up.
Could we add it as an agenda item, and can we do some research of what it would take to add back that Veterans Day? And
Well,
we can look at what it would take, and then
we're
we can
not part of,
decide if
we're
we
not
wanna
part
do
of
it.
the contract.
I understand that, but
Alls we can do is
ask questions, and this is why I'm
alls
asking
we
if
can do is go to the board of selectmen or to the town manager and say, as a board, we would like you to,
Yes.
that's
So
what
if
we
we
can
gather the
do.
facts and prove that it's not a big deal to change, then if that's the way we need to do it, fine. We've already proven that it's not a big deal to change.
Hmm.
And I really have a hard time taking Veterans Day off as a holiday.
Okay. So what else do you want to talk about
So
besides?
will that be then on the next meeting's agenda?
There we go. On the next meeting's agenda, Terry Mays would like to have the adding back the Veterans Day on the trash contract as a day, delayed day, as opposed to a non-delayed day. Please have that on the next meeting's agenda.
So, how fast do we need to get these off? Can we,
How long was the contract we
3
just
years.
signed? 2 years?
3 years.
3 years. So,
buttons?
the contract signed.
Yep.
Nothing will change until the 3 years.
No, or you can agree,
It
bring
can
the
be
contract,
amended.
contract as I can.
It can be amended,
That
it's a
is what an
simple thing,
amendment
it's
is,
only
right.
one day, it's an
Yeah.
amendment
Yes.
of the contract.
And it's our civic duty. I'm sorry, I'm pontificating. Should we
It doesn't bother
approve
me one way or
these?
another.
Should we approve these or wait and see if we can?
I'd like to approve these shy of ending the holidays.
So then we'll make an amendment if we can do it.
If we have to.
Which is fine, but I just want, number six
Six,
suggestions,
number three.
section 3, I think I should put down lids on carts, not cans.
Where are you?
All
Section
trash
three, right
when
there.
fit within a covered
Read that
container,
Okay.
lids on carts,
Yes, cards,
not cans.
Amended to say carts,
Yeah.
in the parentheses, lids on cans
And
should be hands
bags
on
tied,
carts.
just because it's easier when you put them in the trash bag.
Does it matter?
What?
It's nice if you, unless you wanna wash your barrels out.
No, but I don't know if that needs to be in our regulations.
I don't mind having it in our regulations.
Alright.
Makes it cleaner. Loose trash is loose trash. All right, besides the exceptions to the word cans to cart,
I motion to accept the rules and regulations.
we're gonna ask before you do that motion, does anybody else have any other comments about the trash?
No.
Okay, I do, and it's G, bulk items.
Okay.
Bulk items refer to large items that do not fit in a 64-gallon trash container or exceed 40 pounds. Example of bulk items include chairs, tables, cribs, furniture, except sofa beds. Bicycles, grills, mattresses, box springs, and carpeting must be cut into 3x3 sections and bundled. Is it my understanding that if you put out 3x3 sections of bundled carpeting besides your barrels, you're gonna take them? I don't think so.
No, this
That's
is,
bulk
Bundle.
items.
no, I'm just saying, but that is how Waste Solutions likes to have them set to be picked up.
Okay, but if I cut my carpet and roll it up and put it inside my trash barrel and put 3 bags of trash inside the rolled barrel, and if they dump it, it's dumped, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
Oh, I see.
that's what I was questioning. It needs to be cut in 3x3, 3 foot by 3 inch sections. Well, that's,
A mattress too?
mattresses can't go unless you get stuff, you know, you can take a mattress with a raisinette, cut off the cover. You can then take a pair of wire cutters and cut all the springs off the frame, and then you can cut the frame up in 1 foot sections and fit it all in a trash barrel if you wanna take that much time to do
I
it.
wanna tell you right now, good luck doing that with bare wire cutters.
Well, if
You
you
better
have
have-
bolt cutters in.
You better have a small pair of bolt cutters, yeah,
Yeah.
because you're just not gonna.
Bob, did you wanna change something on this, the bulk item definition?
No, I'm just wondering whether people think that if they can fit a 3 by 3 foot
I
section.
think if they can fit it in, it doesn't exceed 40 pounds, yeah.
Okay, so as long as it's in the barrel, not around the barrel.
Right.
I just think the bulk items refer to bulk items that
But-
fit, that, this says bulk items that do not fit in a 64-gallon trash container or exceed 40 pounds. So I think we should say need to be picked up separately, or need to contact the
Well, you know what I
It
think
says
you need
that
to
at the
do?
top right
Yeah,
there.
but
It
I think
says-
what you need to do is move that at
Yeah,
the top.
that
Bulk
needs to be
items shall
together.
be collected
Yeah,
for
you got it
fee.
right there.
Put it underneath G,
Yeah.
as an explanation of what G
Right.
is.
Does that make sense to you guys?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, because
You
it's
have
right at
it,
the
it's
top.
there.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
just move it down here.
Move it down there,
So if
right,
something's
exactly.
above
less than
prohibited
40
items,
pounds,
so-
they'll take it,
Does that make sense?
It'll pull it all together.
but only if it's in the barrel.
No.
Like if something weighs
No.
less than 40 pounds, can you put it
No.
beside your barrel?
No,
No.
put it in the barrel.
Everything,
You have to have sticker items for these things too,
Right.
yeah. From Waste Solutions.
so these don't go in your barrel. These are saying that these are too big for the barrel, or they're
Correct.
way too much.
Right.
And then underneath it will be the number you call to handle the
Yeah,
Right, right,
I just
yeah.
put an arrow down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree.
But I just, once again, want to say to you that if you want to take the time to cut it all up to fit into your barrel, that's your decision, but
Let's not, let's try to,
Right, so I'll change those two things.
So, besides the amendment to change the word cans to cart on page 1 and moving the bulk items down below item G, and the potential possibility of having an amendment to holiday, can I have a motion to accept the trash regs as they stand now?
So moved.
Motion has been suggested to accept the trash regs. Do I have a second? Well, Mr. Greeno.
we still have.
Yeah,
one-
second, we can have discussion.
Okay, one more discussion, okay, I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
Okay, do you remember the hurricane and you tried to get the trash? We tried to put out a call saying that we weren't gonna pick up the trash?
Yeah.
Well, right here, if for some emergency reason, storm sewer collection not made on the assigned day, but if nobody knows that, you know, like I put my trash barrels out there and my recyclable barrel did get blown over right across the road.
That's what some friends of mine.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it was like, but can we, you made the suggestion to the police chief and he didn't believe that warranted a calling.
I need to send a letter to the selectmen on having the accessibility to the emergency call-out center for the Board of Health. Place calls all the citizens to let people know in emergencies that trash will be delayed.
I mean, I would
Can I
think it's a
ask a
simple
question?
thing.
Yep.
Sharon, Did you put a message on the on the Board of Health's voicemail that day saying that the trash?
Yes,
will be
and
picked
it
up?
was also on the town website, yeah.
Okay, right.
Do we wanna put the Board of Health number in here, contact the office? I don't know. Probably doesn't need to be in the regs.
Oh, it needs to be in the regs. I agree, it doesn't need to be in the regs.
I'd rather just, please check the website, so you're not inundated by 4,000 calls.
So on the emergencies, after the word week, do you want to say, put in there, please check the website?
Yes, yeah, something, just something, so they have something to refer to.
So Sharon, under I,
Mhm. Town website. yeah.
town website and
Yeah.
or Board of Health phone number,
Yeah.
All right, good.
so.
Because that was an
just-
issue,
Just
because,
so I can
I'll put
clarify,
phone message.
yeah, phone message. Just so I
perfect.
can clarify, expose the change on page 1, number 3, from cans to cart, except for the item G, where we're moving the words, bulk items down below G, and the amendment we have just made to page 4, item I, emergencies, and we have a motion and second to accept the minutes as they stand. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 The ayes have it, 400, the trash regs are approved,
So I will,
as so amended.
I will, collect them and send them out to you and add the update as today's date.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to talk about the health agents report.
I'm almost done December's food inspections. I've got like maybe 6 more to do, and I'll be finished.
Any issues so far that jump out at you?
Not for this grouping, no, not a bit. The Whale Street, which is one of the ones I wanted to speak to you a little bit about, this is a house, it's a 4-unit house, 6466. It's been in court for quite a while. It was appointed a court receiver, which means that all rents and any expenses are collected by an attorney who is appointed by the court as a receiver to use those monies to pay taxes, to try to do the corrections of the violations. And right now, there's only 2 units that are being, rent is being received from out of the 4. And it's been a slow piecemeal of getting stuff done. The one good thing is this house is in the target area for the block grant funding that the town received recently. I actually called the block grant office the other day to start this in motion to see if it could go from a low number to an emergency situation, because there's some violations there, such as second means of egress and others that really need attention. So I haven't heard back from them. I did fax them all the notices to correct. I gave them the attorney who's working as our receiver's information, and gave the attorney their information. So it might be a very good impetus.
What is this block grant assistance that the town has?
The town applied for it along with the Whitman, and it's for certain areas in Abington, for neighborhood improvements and people that have like maybe lead paint issues or issues with housing that they really need assistance with. And because Whale Street is one of those areas of the targets, and I think there's one other area in town. But I just thought this would be a very good place to start, so that's why I called. The owner of the property mentioned in court last week that she had applied for assistance, so once I heard that, I called them and said, hey, we have a notice to correct order on this property and it's in court. Is there anything we can have you help us with? So I'll keep you informed of that.
This isn't the same person that came in, no, that was a
No,
champion.
no. Other than that, some of these, I think, have been corrected. Yeah, Washington Street's finished. Russell Street, I'm gonna go back December 7th. I was called into that by the fire department. Doors Drive was just an exterior housing inspection for debris in the yard. 857 Hancock Street, were some emergency violations there. I've been back twice. I've sent
What are some examples of an emergency violation?
Water leaking through a light, because the roof was leaking.
Yeah, that would be an emergency.
Smoke detector not working, CO detector not working, the keys, they have the type of, although he said they're not working, I still want them removed. He has on both exit doors the type of locks that you have to keys in order to gain access and entry. They're legal, because if you were ever in a fire, you couldn't find the keys, you wouldn't be able to get out. You haven't seen
No.
there's locks out there that you have to have a key in the lock in order to
Oh.
gain entry or exit, and they're actually legal. I've actually, sent referrals to the fire department, the wiring inspector, who I had go up with me to this house on November 21st because, I was concerned about the water coming through the light. And I'm going back on December 17th. What else? Let me see what else I gotta see here. Oh, Jean Carroll Road is a new septic system that went in. 101 Whale Street is corrected, and Plymouth Street is ongoing because it's a very large dwelling with probably at least 7 apartments. It's very old. And I've been trying to work with it's the owner's grandson, because the owner is quite elderly, in trying to get some of it resolved. The other part I just want to mention is I did go to the SSRC meeting in Whitman last week. I did talk to Nancy Hurst and Dory regarding the proclamation for Christine Hickey, and there's examples in Nancy's office of what they've done for other proclamations, and I'm not sure what exactly you want to have written on it, so if you want to take a jot up and get some samples so I know what to write,
Okay.
that would be fine. And the only other thing I just wanted to mention is we had a meeting of department heads last week, Wednesday, I believe, for the budgets. The budget has to be in by December 19th, so I'm gonna, at the next board meeting, present you with what I am putting in for you guys to look at, and the town manager suggested that we put a 1 to 1% increase for expenses.
What about the trash line item?
Well, that would be part of that expense, but it's also gonna be quite a bit less as a line item, because we don't have to buy the carts anymore. And I was gonna use the highest monthly amount that we have thus far, multiply it times 12, and probably add a little bit increase to it, then add in the cost of what yard waste collection and Christmas tree collection is. But I'll show you all of it before. I just wanna let you know this just happened.
That's a shock.
Yeah,
You guys have a budget in by the 19th of December.
so that's basically all I had. I am gonna, the only other thing is try to set some time for taking some time off here and there, but I'll present that to you eventually too.
Well,
Yeah,
the sooner the better that you know you're gonna take it.
yeah.
While we're on the subject matter of the health agent's report and budget, one of the items that I want to discuss with the budget was, I believe that we are getting a rebate from the recycle bins that we purchased. And I believe that the town manager has stated that that has to go to the general fund, but that in the spring meeting, we can vote to have that funds moved.
Yes.
How, do we need to send an official letter to the town manager requesting that as a board? How do we do it as an article? How do we get that money moved into our budget in the spring?
I would have to probably find out what the procedures are.
So if you could find out for the board for the next meeting, I'd appreciate it, because I'd like to get that filed officially as quickly as possible, so that doesn't get left off the agenda in the
I
spring.
did submit the paperwork back to Boston last week with a signature from the town manager, to get the money back to us, because, it was just paperwork that they sent us for accepting the grant,
Mhm.
yeah.
So again, how much was that for?
$61,070, I believe.
And that's all of it, that's all?
Yes.
That's one payment.
That's one payment, yeah.
And we just wanna find out the mechanism for ensuring that we do have it available at these springtime meeting.
Okay, I'll write something, all right. We might have to, Carrie, you might know this, we might have to do it as a warrant article, would you say?
I was wondering, I don't know if they're gonna do it as an accounting item, but we want it to be official so that another department doesn't go
Right.
like that general fund money.
Yeah, yeah,
That 61,000 needs to be earmarked to go
Yeah.
towards our trash
okay.
collection line item.
And my rationing for that conversation is that, when we speak about the new trash, it went in effect in August, not in July.
That's correct.
So in August, we saw a decrease in tonnage by 45 tons and an increase in recycling by 16 tons, approximately, not accurately, but approximately. For the month of September, we saw a 90-ton increase, a decrease in trash, but we saw a 3-ton increase only in recycling. And then for the month of October, we saw a 34-ton decrease in trash and a 23-ton increase in recycling, which is quite more what I expected to see on a monthly basis. So overall, I haven't seen the numbers I was hoping to see in the tonnage of decrease in trash and increase in recycling that would offset or make me feel more comfortable about the spring budget without getting that money back into our budget. Thus, my major reason why, if the town manager has stated we can get it added back into our budget, I'd rather have it there till the month of May, knowing that I could give it back to the town early, on May 30th, as opposed to not having it and asking for the town in April for money that we may or may not get and have to carry the debt over to the next season before we pay a bill.
So you're asking to have it put for this budget?
No, for this, the budget year ends June 30th
Right.
next year. And the spring meeting isn't until April, I believe.
Correct.
Until next year.
Right.
And we need that $60,000, put it back into our budget in April to make sure we have the funding to pay our bills through June 30th. Now, last year in May, in the second meeting, we did have a vote to allow the town to take some of our budget back because we gave back a lot of money to the town. And we'll be able, hopefully gonna be able to do it again this year if the numbers continue on the way they go on. Two factors. Number one, we did not factor in the tonnage of the condominiums at all. So we're bringing them back, we're picking them up now, but we're bringing them back officially January 1st. And number two, we have not seen the numbers of decrease in trash tonnage and increase in recycling to make me feel warm and fuzzy that the numbers are gonna be that great. So unless we have an exceptional winter where we see a huge decrease in trash tonnage and a huge increase in recycling tonnage, I still think we're on the cusp of maybe having to ask the town in April for funding to pay our trash bills in May and
I
June.
think we're going to have to ask for money.
Yeah, so on that benefit is my first requirement as to why I want that $60,000 put back in, so we can ask for less. Because it is money that we put out up front.
61, yeah.
61,000.
It is money we put
Yeah.
out front to pay for the bill, which was over $200,000 or more. And at least we get some of that back in our budget to help pay some of the trash bill before we ask the town. But we did tell the town this past year that we would be back in the spring if we needed to, based on the fact that we are now paying for those trash barrels out of our budget, so.
Well, I think what hurt too was the fact that the program didn't start till August, that July was at the old rate versus the new tonnage rate.
So, actually, we saw a decrease in July of tonnage, but
But the rate didn't
But
change.
the rate didn't change, and we saw we had less recycling also, which is surprising for July, but that's the last month. So those are my reasons for rationing out why I want that money put back in and making the letter official as soon as possible, even though it may be months ahead of schedule. At least it's on their books to say that we've requested this money to be put back into our account. I don't wanna wait and miss the
Are you
warrant.
planning to write the letter, or?
I don't care,
All right, yeah.
doesn't make any difference to me, but
Well, I think it'd
my
come.
understanding is the emails you sent out, John said it had to go to the general fund, but that we could put it back in a
He said
special
he's
town
a-
meeting or,
And he said
the only
he's
special town
supporting
meeting
it.
I'm aware of is in April.
Yeah,
Right.
So
The
I,
special that comes.
I don't wanna
from the
wait
general.
to have a warrant. If I need to send a request to the town selectmen now to let them know I want that money put back in now as a warrant line item, hopefully they're not gonna make me wait until 3 weeks before the warrant gets written to say, submit that letter.
Well, I think what we need to do is make sure that they don't lose sight of it.
And by sending an email now to the FinCom and to the selectmen saying that we will be asking for that 61,000 to go back in the budget in the spring, at least they're aware that we are on top of it.
And I think we want to know what we need to do, what the mechanism is to make that happen. So not just asking for it, but yes, you said we'll put it back in, but how are we going to accomplish that? Do we need an article? Is it going to be an
I can
accounting?
certainly do that. I think it would be better to have a letter come from you,
That's fine.
yeah, for the
No
other
problem.
part of it. I'd be glad to find out the mechanism piece, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, I just, minutes to approve,
Well, can we discuss them, because we don't have all the new business?
minutes to discuss,
Minutes aren't on here. If it was old new business, then it could be old business.
minutes, period.
We have minutes from October 1st. Bob Manning, Teresa Mays, Linda Dickey, Bob Greeno, present. Everybody,
It was sent out probably, approved 2 weeks ago, so, want to read them?
When was that for?
October 1st.
Oh, I got it right now.
Don't write on it, because those are the copies.
What do we do with it?
Read
Read
it,
it.
see if you have any problems with it, any comments that were marked to Bob G that maybe you don't like. I came in late to that meeting.
Oh, God, is that far back?
Yeah. So I want to get that on.
This is-
That's so long ago.
Mm. So will I make a motion to accept the minutes for October 1st meeting?
Motion to accept the minutes of October 1st meeting, do I have a second? Motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
4-0.
Is there anything else on our agenda? I don't believe so.
Vouchers.
Vouchers?
I have no voucher package to give you.
We're waiting for, we will be getting one by the next meeting, the bill for the hazardous waste day. We're waiting for the money that was appropriated, at the special town meeting in October of the $1,000 to pay the additional cost of the hazardous waste day to put in before we can, submit the bill to you.
Okay, before we.
Is it ever gone over $1,000?
Yes.
Before, yes.
So
Oh,
this
yes.
time we knew it was $1,000.
I'm sorry?
This time we knew it was $1,000, or did we go over?
What happened was we appropriated 2,100, because Claire had suggested that, because the past 2 years we'd had a very low turnout. There was an article written in the Boston Globe prior to our hazardous waste day that people came out in droves. So next year, FY14, I'm definitely gonna put in more money to make sure that we don't have to ask for an appropriation next year.
Okay.
Does the board have a recommendation as to when they'd like to have the woman from the Massachusetts office, Health Office Association come and talk to us? Do you want to come in the next December meeting, or do you want it in January?
How about the first meeting in January?
I was
I
gonna say,
think
we already have
January-
somebody come in.
Because of the budget for next time.
Mm.
Yeah.
So first meeting in January.
Yeah.
Mary, MHOH officer Sarah Cooligan would be invited to come to our meeting, the first meeting in January.
Oh, could I have that?
For whatever meeting's convenient for her.
It's my only letter. So I can call her. Oh, okay. I don't need that though.
Anything else?
Okay, planes on it?
Motion to adjourn the
Motion
meeting.
to
Oh
adjourn.
my God.
Second.
Motion adjourned, second. Any further discussion? None? All in favor, say aye.
Yes!
The ayes have it.